Hey, welcome to the show. Happy Monday. I'm Lauren Caselli, and today we're talking about when you should host your event. A lot of times I talk about what time of the year to host an event, whether it's in the fall or the spring or Christmas or whatever. But today we're talking about what part of the day and when during the week is the most successful to host your first event. I'm Lauren Caselli. I'm a workshop, retreat, event, and conference planner for digital entrepreneurs and creative business owners. And today we are talking about the best time of the week to host an event. So I'm going to give you 3 tips today about deciding whether or not to host your event on a weekday, on a weekend, during the morning, during the afternoon. And really, a lot of it is going to come down to audience research. When I hosted my first event, I just thought about who my audience was. And this might be a really good exercise for you to think about who your audience is. Think about who the people that you want to come to your events. Think about what their psychology is, just really thinking about their behavior. For me, what I've noticed in my community, people would much rather give up their evenings during the week than they would rather give up their weekends or sometime during their working hours. And you have to think about this. You know, I work with entrepreneurs. I work with entrepreneurs between 1 and 3 years of business. And most of those people, A, have full-time or part-time jobs that they are competing with, and B, either have families or want to break on the weekends and don't necessarily want to be doing business building. However, it's a really easy sell to get someone to come to a 3 or 4 hour workshop or a 2-hour networking event when they're not trading so much working time or personal time. If you can sell kind of an after work event, a lot of times people are a lot more eager to go to something like that because, they don't have to convince their boss that they have to take a day off, or they can, if you sell it as kind of a networking opportunity, they can also justify it not only as a write-off if they're business owners, but they can justify it as like, well, maybe I'll go have a drink and I'll learn something. It's like a seminar or a class. You will have much better luck with doing kind of an evening event if you're doing just kind of a few hour event versus asking someone to come in on a weekend or asking them to take time out of their workday. However, again, think about your audience. If your audience is entirely stay-at-home moms, you might want to do something that's like 10 to noon, but during nap time or something like that. You're just going to want to really think what times of the day those people are the most engaged, have the most time, and are going to be able to commit themselves fully to your event. That said, the other piece that a lot of people ask me is, what if I'm doing a full day retreat or a full day workshop? You're going to have a better luck on the weekends. Again, a lot of people have full-time jobs or have a really hard time investing in themselves for a full day experience during the weekday, because then they have to take off work, or they have to, they're not working hours at their startup or whatever it is that they're doing. They're much more likely to say, okay, I have a whole day. I'd much rather do it on a weekend, which is my time. And that's not, I would love for us to all educate each other and saying business building is your business's time, or, business building should also take place on your working hours time, but people unfortunately don't think like that. So if you're thinking about doing a full day retreat, a longer retreat, I think you're going to have better luck on the weekends. On a Saturday primarily, Sundays generally can be a little bit tricky just depending on the audience. So full day retreat or full day workshop, think about doing it on a weekend. Again, pull your audience, feel free to put it out on Facebook, but I think the overwhelming majority of people for an 8-hour stretch are going to want to do something on a weekend. Last thing I wanted you to think about, if you're doing a 3 or 4 day or a longer day conference where people are flying in or they're just taking multiple days away from their family or their life or whatever, this one is really tricky. And again, it's going to depend on you as a business owner and what offer you're providing and what the value proposition is, and also kind of what you want the experience to be. You're going to have the best luck somewhere around a weekend. So like, I'm not telling you to do like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's going to be really hard, not only for people flying in, but also for just generally kind of selling a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is really tricky. I like the weekend model. I think a lot of times people go with the weekend model, and especially if you're doing a retreat or you're doing some sort of thing where everyone's together in the same room, and you don't have to convince them as hard to be the fact that they're taking time away from their family or whatever, because it's like a vacation, it's like a business retreat or a conference. And so if you're working with smaller businesses, think about doing it from either a Friday to a Sunday. If you're, if that's your audience, if they would come and do a retreat with you, and that would be better for hotel rooms, not only flights, things about that, might have more options on the weekend. If you're working with bigger companies who are used to sending their attendees to conferences or retreats, you could do a Sunday through a Tuesday. That's another good option because then, they have the Sunday travel day or Saturday as a travel day, Sunday is part of the conference, and then just a couple days, maybe fly out on Tuesday, and then they don't have to take so many days off of work. They don't have to be so many days removed from their email. So again, just thinking about as a consumer, as a retreat attendee, or as a business person, what would you want? And polling your audience, sending one email. All of the emails that I send to poll my audience, they always just ask one question. They say, would you rather have an event hosted on a weekday or on a weekend, a weekday from 4 to 8 or a weekend from noon to 4 or something like that? And just give people the choice to pick. And then, that's easy. People will just respond A, B, A, B. I got like 100 responses out of like a 50 responses out of a 100-person email list, which is pretty good. I mean, that's a 50% open and response rate. So that's what I'm going to say about that. Which is the best? I'm going to say again, after work, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even Monday potentially, you're going to have good luck with people attending an event. That's a 2 or 3 hour workshop, networking, whatever. Those are going to be good times, not only for entrepreneurs, but also for other, people who have jobs, people who have partners. They're much more likely to give up that weekday time. Weekends for, all day, 1 day long retreats or workshops. And then thinking about, kind of piggybacking around a weekend, regardless of whether you're doing a retreat or you're doing a conference or something like that, but just kind of piggybacking around that weekend, not doing it dead set in the middle of the week. That's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you really loved this video, I would love a comment below, or I would love for you to forward it to someone that you know and would love this video too. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next week.